it! Living Waters presents On the Box.
All right, folks, welcome to another edition of On the Box. I am your host today. I'm not Tony Miano. I'm Chad Williams.
You're not?
And sitting next to me here is my trusty sidekick, Ray Comfort. Power. I'm in the power seat. Okay, all joking aside. All right, so we got a giveaway for you folks today. It's the survey pad by Living Waters. And this survey pad's great. In fact, we have an upcoming segment with a flip chart that we use the same questions off that survey pad in an open air scenario. So you guys are going to get to see how that looks. And we also have a special guest on the show today, Mike Stockwell with Cross Country Evangelism. I got to slow down. All right, so Mike Stockwell with Cross Country Evangelism. We're going to be chatting with him a little bit. But before we do that, on a more serious note, we would like you guys to lift up those folks that were involved in the tsunami and the earthquake. It's a very sad thing that happened. I remember being up last night, 11:30, 12 o'clock, just watching these cars get taken out by the waves.
I got that text from you.
Yeah, really eerie.
That was 160 times bigger than the one in Christchurch, New Zealand. 160 times. You can't imagine. And in this week's update, we've got a first-hand account from Melissa Day, and it's frightening what happened to her during that earthquake, but this is 160 times bigger. Just frightening.
Just looking at that water go over the land like that, even as a SEAL, I don't even think I could make it through that water.
You're a surfer. Yeah, of course. You're a surfer. You would know that when you read the book of Psalms, it says God has caused the seas to mount up and come down, and then he says this far and no further. You know, Waimea Bay with its 40 feet waves come up to the beach and they just fade out. Right. Tsunami doesn't fade out. It's just like a freight train. Yeah. It's like God saying, this is coming through and I'm not stopping it.
Yeah, that's real wild. All right, folks. Well, if you guys have any questions, make sure you send it to our email, onthebox@livingwaters.com. We like you guys to interact with us in the chat room. Send your comments, your questions. We try to get to your questions, but if we can't, just send it through the email, and we'll probably get to it on a later show. And don't forget to send in a video question. You can make a video, send it to our YouTube, The Way the Master. That's YouTube.com/The Way the Master. And we're going to be cutting over here to Alan Pearson here in a little bit. He's over there in the atheist hole, as Ray puts it.
Before we go any further, I got a confession to make.
Go ahead.
When I heard I was going to be with you, sitting next to you today, Mr. Muscle, I padded up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, did I ever.
Don't tense, because you're going to...
So I just I feel, when we started off with a pad, I didn't know that was coming, that survey pad. I thought, I'm going to get caught. So this is the real me now.
Oh,
this
great.
Is that.
Well, all right, so we had Alan on the show yesterday. He was sitting, I think, in your chair. Maybe Tony was shifted over. I forget exactly how that went. But we have an awesome opportunity coming up where we could get the gospel out to millions of people on television and on a racetrack with these famous race drivers. Ray, you actually might get an opportunity to interview some pretty famous people.
And to drive one of those fast cars.
Yeah, if this pulls through.
Yeah.
You're accident prone. In fact, you have a nickname, don't you?
What is it?
We're going to cut over to Alan here in a little bit. He's going to give us an update, and he can share that nickname that he has for you. So, Alan, what do you got?
Thank you, Chad. Yes, Ray's new nickname is his accidency, and he will not be driving the car. Beyond that, everything else you said is true. This is an awesome opportunity. We're pretty excited about it, and I want to offer an update, not go through everything we went through yesterday. Time doesn't permit us to do that today. But if you want details about what we talked about yesterday and everything related to this opportunity of sponsoring a NASCAR Nationwide Series car on Saturday, March 26th, that's a week from this Saturday, you can either tune into yesterday's program, dial it up on the archive, and watch the details there. Send us an email. We'll be happy to send you all the details in writing. But the bottom line is this. We have an opportunity to sponsor this car. We need about $35,000 total in order to do that, to be the primary sponsor on this car, which means we would own the car. We would have Living Waters, whatever we choose to put, hellsbestkeptsecret.com, anything we want on the front of the car, on the back of the car, on the sides of the car. I mean, we would own the car. And the car's driven by Kevin LePage, someone I know personally, a Christian. Car owners are Christians. So this is a perfect fit for us and an awesome opportunity, again, to reach millions of people via Fox TV, which that race on Saturday will be broadcast on Fox. Qualifying and practice will be televised on the Speed Channel on Thursday and Friday. And beyond that, those we'd reach on TV, we have a great opportunity with the army of folks we'd bring, a couple dozen of us from the staff and others who might support the effort here, could join us at the track and really have an opportunity to get access to, witness to, get footage from a lot of people we would never otherwise get access to. So along with the sponsorship comes those kinds of opportunities. And again, the update is people have responded. We're more than halfway towards that goal of 35,000. Unfortunately, this is pretty much an all or nothing kind of arrangement. So we must raise every penny we need to do the sponsorship, or we can't do it at all. On yesterday's program, we talked about the deadline being the end of the day today. That's now been changed. I've been able to work things out. So if we give them an answer at the end of the day on Monday, that's still possible. So if you're able to pray about this, we would appreciate that. If you're led to support us, we would certainly appreciate that. And hopefully we'll have an update on Monday with good news and let everybody know that this is gonna happen.
It sounds really, really exciting, you know.
That $35,000 is just for the gas for around the track twice.
I think that's just one
Oh,
goal.
okay, once then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
In California, that would make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a special guest coming up here in Allen's seat in just a little bit. And while they're switching out mics, Ray, you went over to Cerritos College yesterday. You went all by your lonely self, didn't you?
On my little bike.
Your little
I
bike.
thought the bike was going to get stolen and I about to buy a new one, but it didn't get stolen. But I had a good time. Spent 2 hours there. Got some good interviews, especially that Hitler thing. You know, would you bury Jews alive if you were told to? And then swinging to the abortion thing. It's turning out to be amazing. We're going to get some amazing footage where guys would say, no, I'd give my life. I would never bury Jews alive, even with a gun pointed at me. And I say, so you respect human life. How do you feel about abortion? It's a woman's choice.
Yeah.
And even though you say, yes, it's a baby, partial birth abortion, you know what that is? Explain it. Yeah, that's okay. And you see, can't you see the disconnect? You would rather give your life than bury Jews alive, and yet you are advocating with zeal the murder of children in the womb. This is the American Holocaust. And then, obviously, we take them through the gospel. So this is going to be a great DVD.
Yeah.
It's going to expose what Hitler's done and educate people historically. It's going to have an abortion message, and it's going to promote the gospel. So it's called Hitler's Religion, and it should come out in the next 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, next 6 or 7 years.
No,
All right.
2 or 3 months.
Yeah, awesome. I definitely look forward to that. And it's incredible. Just I'm a cameraman for this sometimes. And just to see people have that change of mind where they say they're pro-abortion and then you explain to them, do you know what partial birth abortion is? I remember one guy's reaction is, they really do that? And they change their minds right there on camera.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to, you know, educate these people, enlighten them on these things, and cause them to see how there's this sort of this double standard. We're doing exactly what Hitler did. We're redefining the human being's value.
Right.
And it's not up to man. Man's not the measure of all things. God certainly is. All right, so coming up now, Mike Stockwell, our special guest. Now, Mike's a former U.S. Marine. He finished his 4-year tour and became a very successful landscaper, all to leave it behind and become a full-time missionary sent out from his church in Long Island. So, Mike, how you doing? Why don't you say hello?
I'm doing well, thanks. After that burrito that we had this morning, it was huge.
Yeah, Mike had one of my famous burritos. You could put a puppy inside of it.
Say to this mountain, be cast into the mouth, and it does.
Yeah. So, Mike, how long you been out on the road for?
I've been on the road for 2 years now. April 20th, it'll be 2 years exactly.
Okay. And what is the name of your ministry? I think we got a lower third down there with it. Could you give us the name and just a little bit of a breakdown of what you're doing out on the road?
Yeah, it's called Cross Country Evangelism. What we do is we go on the road and we come alongside other Christians who are preachers and evangelists, and I just try to help them and encourage them, but usually I walk away encouraged by what I see out there, people doing in different states and going out across America and across other countries. It's been a real exciting experience to be out there doing it.
Hey, are there any particular places that you've traveled to that you really like, any spots you did any open-air preaching at?
Yeah, I happen to like Jamaica. I've been there 4 times already.
Jaman.
Yeah, man. The people there are just really open to the gospel. They receive tracts, and just we get to open air with a half-mile hailer. We blast the whole square out, and everybody hears us, and it's really a nice time down there.
And it's legal, it's allowed, it's encouraged?
Yes, no problems. The police walk right by us, and we just keep blasting it.
Well, I bet like in your travels, you probably have some pretty crazy stories, some pretty wild things that have happened along the way. Is there anything off the top of your head that you can think of, a wild time?
Yeah, there's been a couple of them, but the most recent one has been as I was coming from Texas to California. I stopped off in Las Vegas, and as I was heading to Las Vegas, it took me 19 hours to get there. The last 100 miles, just before I hit the last 100 miles, I saw a group of gas stations. I had just under a quarter of a tank. I was like, I'll get a gas up the road here. Well, I'm driving, and there's nothing. Finally, I see a gas sign saying gas. So, but you got to make a right turn down this side road. So I start driving down the side road, and I see gas, 21 miles. I was like, okay. I said, I have to go for this gas station because I have no choice. So as I'm driving, I got jackrabbits running across the road and tumbleweeds. I'm in the middle of the desert, haven't seen a house. Finally, I get to the 21 miles, and there's no gas station. And now I'm on E, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I call 911. I say, help. I said,
You really called 911?
Yes, I did. I was in the middle of nowhere. I said, can you help me out here? I'm about to run out of gas. I don't even know really where I am. I said, I know the road is Temple Bar Road. And they're like, well, you need to get back out to the highway. I'm like, I'm on E, and I just drove 21 miles to get down here. So I'm like, they're saying, no, after you get out to the highway, you got about 15 miles. You got to go over the Hoover Dam, and you'll find a gas station. And I'm like, well, what happens if I don't? They said, well, try to get to the highway. Someone can bring you gas then. So
that sounds like the plot to a movie. You know, except the only thing that was missing was a whole lot of dead men's bones when you went down that old road.
I thought I would be seeing them along the way.
Yeah, vultures.
So as I'm driving back down the road, my gas light goes on, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make this. I'm like, Lord, please help me. I get all the way to the main road. I couldn't believe it. On fumes, I make the right to go on there, and all of a sudden I look at my gas gauge. It starts going up, and the light goes off. I'm like, praise the Lord. I'm like, thank you, Lord. So I'm driving up the Hoover Dam mountain, and it goes back on. Then I keep driving, and finally it starts going under E. And to make a long story short, I finally practically rolled into the gas station, and I was able to get gas, but it was pretty scary out there.
Mike, didn't you know that E stands for enough?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's what it means. For a Christian, it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the widow's oil that just kept going.
Kept going and going.
Yo, so Mike Stockwell and I went out to Huntington Beach yesterday to catch some footage for you guys, and we got some clips here. And the first clip is for open air preaching. We show you guys a chalk line and
I don't know you speak Russian.
Yeah, what kind of
that's
accent is that?
That's quite incredible. Did you notice
Wow.
that? He speaks Russian, a little bit of Australian, Chinese, all mingled.
Mike Stockwell's rubbing off on me.
Oh, is he?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, Long Island. So, all right, we went out yesterday, Huntington Beach. We got 6 clips to show you guys. Some say it can't be done, but I think if we just power through these things, go really quick, give the tips, and this will be recorded. You guys can go back, play it, learn from it, whatever.
Let's do it.
All right, so the first clip coming up, it's laying down the chalk line, and I think it's also bringing out the second box, the Hecklers Box. So why don't you guys go ahead and take a look at this clip. All right, so what Mike's doing right now is he's drawing a chalk line, and a chalk line is very key to open air preaching. All right, you'll notice right now that Mike is wheeling out the box that we're going to be preaching from. We actually use a cooler when we do this, and there's a second box that we use as well. We call this second box the Hecklers Box. And there's some very good reason for having a second box for your heckler to step up on. And again, this is going to be something that we could explain on the show. I need a volunteer. I need somebody that's loud and bold. I need somebody that's loud and bold. You the guy?
Come on, nobody's louder than me. I'm
What's your name?
Terry.
Terry, my name's Chad. Terry, I need you to step right on over here.
I am.
all right.
I'm going to back this box up a little bit. you folks please bring it in a little closer, up to the chalk line, please. Terry, step on up on the box. So Terry, here we go. You're gonna take a couple tests here. First test gonna be an IQ test. If you pass the IQ test, I'll give you a couple bucks, okay? If you get a passing score.
Chad, what you need for that is man's chalk. This, despite the color of being pink, is man's chalk. See that? It's not this little finger chalk like ladies' chalk. You want to be able to draw a thick line so people can see it. This is called mega chalk. I ripped the thing off today.
Yeah?
And it's from Creatology Art Supplies. Mega chalk. So that's what you want.
We had mega chalk out there, and it was white. I don't know, Muscle Mike over here is grinding this thing down into the pavement. By the time he gets done with it, there's like a half an inch left.
I saw how thick that was.
Yeah.
People had to climb over the chalk line.
Yeah. So we got two things there, Ray. We've got the chalk line, and we've got the Hecklers Box we could talk about. And both of these are very key to open-air preaching. They're very useful, very helpful. How did you start with the chalk line? What's the purpose of it?
Well, I saw it in the book of Acts, Acts chapter 2, where Peter stood up to preach. No, what you need is crowd control, because for many years I had a problem with the crowd coming too close, and if a crowd gets close to you, you can't lift your voice up like a trumpet. If they're up in your face like that, asking you questions, you've got to be polite and bring your voice down and speak cordially to them. So you want to back 12, 15 feet, and having that chalk line gives you control. It means you can say to people, look, I don't want to ruin my voice. I don't want to yell at you because it's rude. Would you come up to the chalk line, do me that favor? And if someone steps a foot over the chalk line, you can actually say, get that foot back from over, get back over the chalk. And they do what you say. I don't know why, but they sure do.
Yeah.
And so it gives you control. And then, God bless you, Ron. Not only does it give you control, but when people see a crowd and the crowd is orderly, they're not straggled.
Right.
It draws a crowd because it looks like they're listening intently to something. They've come up and surrounded the person who's speaking rather than being straggled and sort of what's going on there. So, yeah, it's an essential as far as I'm concerned.
It's got that snowball effect.
Yeah.
Crowd draws a crowd. Now, if people start coming over the chalk line and you ask them to get on the other side of the chalk line and they don't obey, you know, it's one time out of like maybe 50 times that they don't obey. There's one other tactic that I've heard you use. Can you think of it? What it is?
Yeah, I call out Chad.
Nope.
No?
Spray zone.
Oh, yeah, the spray zone. That's right. Thank you. I say, my name's Spray Comfort, and sometimes I spray, and I don't want to spin on you, so you better step back a little bit.
That's the
and
perimeter.
They often step back to that 15-foot perimeter.
Okay, so we got the chalk line knocked out. Now the Hecklers Box. Mike, can you think of any reasons why we use the Hecklers Box? Anything jump out?
First, I want to say the reason that chalk went down so quick is the joy of the Lord was my strength right there. So I didn't realize how much I had, but yeah, we use the box. I think it's mostly because most people, when we're up there, they say, "What, are you better than us? What do you think, you're above us?" So you use the other box to let them stand up and just show them that we're not better, but we have a message to proclaim to you.
As a matter of fact, that's actually how the second box, the Hecklers Box, originated. We were over at UCLA for the first time, my first time over there, and we're doing a project, Origin into Schools, and somebody was heckling you, and they said, "Oh, why do you think you're so high and mighty up on that box, up on your pedestal above everybody else?" I looked down on the ground. We had a second box there. I was like, "Why don't you step up on this box then?" So it takes the objection out of their mouth. But we've actually learned that there's more positive effects that it has. There's more of a good byproduct that comes from the second box.
People can see you're being heckled by someone, so from a distance you see a crowd of people and two heads standing above everyone else going like this at each other. So it does tend to bring the crowd in a little bit. But that's taken away one of my jokes I like to use in public, where people say, "Why you stand on that box?" I like to say, "Because I'm short." And now we've got a guy in the other box, so it kills that joke.
You know, the funny thing is, though, they still seem to do it anyways.
Oh, they do.
Even though you go, well, you got a box right there. You can go ahead and step up on it. Yeah, so there's three positive things that come out of it. One, it takes away the objection. It takes away a joke, too, I suppose. Two, it creates even more of a spectacle. You've got two people, in the midst of a crowd. It's one thing to have one guy in a box talking to a crowd of people, but when you see two and then a crowd of people in between them, people are like, "What is going on over there?" And then three, whenever you have a heckler, if you have a really big crowd, suppose it gets up to 100 or 200 people, nobody could ever see the heckler if they're just down on ground level.
That's true.
Yeah,
see a little squeak.
When you get them up on a box, everybody can see them.
And we live in California, so we have to say to people, when they get on the box, you understand you're getting on the box at your own risk, because if they fall off and break their nose, we're in for a lawsuit.
Now, we have that survey that it was the giveaway, and there's some IQ questions that are on that survey, and I think this is a really good transition. It's a great icebreaker. It's one of my favorites whenever I'm doing open air, is to take people through the IQ test that we have on the flip chart. So we have a video clip for you guys that kind of introduces the flip chart to you, and it shows you a little bit of how it works and how you can transition into the gospel out of the IQ test. So let's go ahead and play that videotape of the IQ chart. All right, so one of the keys to open air is having a flip chart and some trivia questions on it, and having the flip chart will help to draw a crowd. And so what I'm going to do right now is assemble this, and we'll show you guys how this works in a little bit. Voila. All right, Terry, now, check it out. Nobody helped Terry out during the IQ test. If you help Terry out, you're going to taint him. He's not going to win the money if he starts taking answers from people in the crowd. So you ready, Terry?
Ready.
Here we go. Read the first triangle very fast.
Pears in the spring.
Next.
Bird in the hand.
Great, and
Once in a lifetime.
next question. How many animals of each kind did Moses take on the ark?
2.
What is the name of the raised print that deaf people read?
Braille.
Is it possible to end a sentence with the word the, do you think?
Yes.
Spell the word shop.
S-H-O-P.
What do you do when you come to a green light?
Stop.
Spell the word silk.
S-I-L-K.
What do cows drink?
Milk.
All right, how many of those do you think you got right? Terry? Hang on. Cool down. Chill out. How many of those do you think you got right, Terry?
Oh, but the at the end of the sentence.
You want to change your answer for the at the end of the sentence?
No, I don't think you can.
Is it possible to end a sentence with the word the?
No.
I'll give you a chance. Is that your final? Yes, so that's your final answer?
Yeah.
All right, now that you changed your answer for that one, you got none of them right. That was the only one that you had right. Now let's go back. Terry, check it out.
I need the last one.
Let's swing that camera around and point it on out. Folks, you can go ahead and help out now. Terry, the first one is read, pears, read it, in, next,
The.
and,
The spring.
yo, you got it? Bird in the hand, once in the hell out there. All right, folks, now you can help Terry out. The next question. How many animals of each kind did Moses take on the ark? You said 2. What is the correct answer?
None.
That's right, none, because it wasn't Moses, it was Noah.
Right.
What is the name of the raised print that deaf people use?
Right.
You said?
Blind people.
You ladies say?
Yeah, they don't. Deaf people don't need that.
It's the blind people that use Braille, not deaf people. Is it possible to end a sentence with the word the? You're like, yeah, and I was like, dang, you got that one right. But then you changed your mind, you say no. But it's right there. Ended. The. Spell the word shop. What do you do when you come to a green light? You said stop.
Oh,
You
no.
go. Spell the word soap. What do cows drink? You said milk.
Water. They make milk.
That's right. They drink water. They make milk. All right, Terry,
Missed
don't
every
fret.
one.
We tested your IQ. Now we're going to test your morality. See if you're a good guy. First question. If you can estimate how many lies you've told in your life, Terry, roughly how many lies have you told?
37.
You know, it's real important to do there, and you did it. You've got to show sympathy for the person, or they'll get humiliated and just crawl into the dirt and leave or something. The poor guy got them all wrong.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
an icebreaker. I let them know that, you know what, nobody ever seems to ever get all of these right. I've never had somebody get all of them right. I think the most anyone's ever gotten is like 3 or 4 of them. There's just something about it. So these exact same questions and the triangles with, you know, the pairs in the spring, all of this is on those survey charts that we have. So it's just really fun, and the transition that you make there is you say, okay, so now we've tested your IQ, let's go ahead and test your morality. So you think you're a good person? It's great. So
And if they say there's no God, there's no hell, they'd say, look, you blew all those IQ tests. What to say you're blowing this? This is far more important.
yeah. All right, so you guys notice in the video, you're like, hey, there's a built-in crowd there, and I know exactly how you feel, because when I first started open air preaching, my big wonder was, because I always seem to walk up when there's already a crowd, is how do they draw the crowd? They say trivia questions, but I want to see them do it. So this is sort of like the part that you never see on our open air videos. It's the drawing of the crowd, starting from nothing,
The hard
part. And we do a time lapse because we don't want to bore you guys with
It's like
a
an
big
atheist.
5 or 6 long.
Everything
you know.
came from nothing.
Yeah. So it happens to the best of us. You start with nothing, you hang in there, you keep asking those questions, and we'll give you guys some tips when we come back from this video. Let's go ahead and play this video. It's a quick time lapse of open air with a voiceover of the questions that I asked as it's time lapsing. Here's the first question for money. If you shout out the right answer, you win the cash. What is the flattest U.S. state? Shout out the answer. Go ahead, take a guess. If you get it right, you win the money. I'm not kidding you.
Kansas.
What'd you say?
Kansas.
No, not Kansas.
Florida.
You're right. It's Florida. Give the guy a hand. All right, folks. What U.S. state is said to have as many cows as people? What is the world's most popular drink besides water? What kills most people in car accidents? What is the world's longest river? What is the world's most popular name? So,
30.
how many bathrooms are there in the White House? Shut it out. All right, hold on. I'll give you guys a range to work with, okay?
Okay.
So, it's somewhere between 30 and 50.
41.
How many bathrooms are there in the White House? You just said it. You said a bunch of them. What was it?
33.
Nope.
35.
This guy got it right. 35. Give the guy a hand.
All right, folks, so as you probably have seen already, I was doing some trivia questions earlier, doing them for money, and I went through a handful of dollars. It's like a burger's worth of dollars. So you could skip a meal and do trivia questions. It doesn't cost a whole lot. And when I was up there, a tip I wanted to share with you guys is to make sure you spread the money out when you're up there. Don't keep it, don't tighten your hands so nobody can see it, but really spread it out. It's an eye catcher. You'll get people coming from far away to check out what is going on. In fact, Mike, who's filming me right now, has got a whole bunch of people behind him staring at me right now just for holding the money this way, so it's a real eye catcher.
I thought you were going to break in.
Oh, yesterday was a quiet day at Huntington Beach. Usually when we're there, it's a Saturday and you get more of a crowd, but that was good to get
that was a weekday when everyone's supposed to be at work. You know, on a Saturday, it's even that much more wild. But it was a quiet day down there, so you just got to stick in there. I mean, I was suffering through it in the very beginning. I was wondering, like, is this really going to be the time where I have to just step down in no crowd?
It has happened. I've had that happen to me. You just have to stick with it.
It's happened to me one time, you know. But like you said, crowd draws a crowd. It's like a snowball effect. As soon as you can get a pod of a few people to stick around and you tell them participate, you guys get loud. As soon as you get loud, then we start going for more money. As soon as you come to my chalk line, we start going for more money. And you get them to participate, and there's a key to the trivia questions that you ask. You want to ask a trivia question where anybody could be a player. I like to go with states and numbers. Anybody could shout a state. Anybody could shout out a number. If you ask a trivia question like, what's the name of the bacteria that rides on the back end of a comet? You're just going to hear chirp, chirp.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to participate. If they either know it or they don't.
Do you know it?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
But states and numbers, anybody could shout out, you know, California, Nebraska,
Hawaii.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
My thought just left me as I went to say it.
What are you doing?
So we got some winners.
Yeah, we got some winners. We're going to go ahead and shout them on out. Mike Stockwell's going to take care of that in his New York accent. Give it to us, Mike.
We got Joyce Bouchard from Vermont, Joe Swain from Indiana, Brian Vento from Texas. Those are our winners today.
All right, I think we got one more video that we're going to show. We might go a hair over today. We call this one the crowd keeper. Whenever you're out there open air preaching, you guys might notice that whenever you bring out the name God or Jesus, that's when the crowd begins to dissipate and go away. So we have a little bit of a trick that keeps the people there. And what I did is I took the camera from Mike and I actually held on to the camera during this portion of the open air while we're in the very middle of it. And while I throw this technique for it. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys the crowd keeper, and we'll give you guys a little bit of an explanation.
This is a preacher's eye view.
This is a preacher's eye view, like a cyclops.
All right, Terry, so here we are. We're in the middle of it. Look left, look right. Take a mental picture of the people that are around you, and folks here, look left, look right. Take a mental picture of the person that is next to you. Now, Terry, I'm going to mention a name that people hate and despise so much that just like cockroaches that are hiding in a dark place and you flip on the light switch and they scatter, that name is going to serve as a light switch. So cockroaches, cockroaches, where are you? We're about to find out. So here's that name. Jesus says that whoever looks upon a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her in his heart. So, Terry, as a red-blooded male, have you ever looked upon someone of the opposite sex with lust?
Today?
All right, so, Terry, according to Jesus, that would make you what? An adulterer at heart. Real quick summation right now. Ready, Terry? All right, check it out. If, obviously this is hypothetical, if you were to die today, and you stood there before God, and he judged you.
All right, Ray, so I heard a story about how you do this thing with the cockroaches and how you roll your hands together and you say, cockroaches, cockroaches, where are you? Never actually seen you do it, but I heard about it.
You did?
And as soon as I heard about it, I wanted to start employing it. Where did you start that?
We were in Brisbane, that's Australia, about last century sometime. We stayed in a house that had little gaps under the doors, and I came down to the bathroom, turned the light on in the kitchen, and there were cockroaches on the walls. And as soon as the light went on, the cockroaches scattered. And so I grabbed this analogy and said, that's just like the ungodly. They're in the darkness, rubbing their little hands and legs together, and they're filthy little creatures. And when the light comes on, they want to scatter, and that's why sin is a light. And so that's what we used. We used to use that at Santa Monica. And the crowd wouldn't move if you told them they're like cockroaches.
Yeah, it's amazing. So remember, when you're open air preaching, if you're going to employ this, first you tell the person that's on the Hecklers Box, you say, you know, if they have glasses on, you ask them, take those glasses off, and they're like curious, like, whoa, what's going to happen taking my glasses off? And you tell them, look around. Take a mental picture, and I like to kind of blink my eyes like I'm chicken, taking mental pictures. Take a mental picture of the people around you. And then everybody here, look left, look right. Take a mental picture of the person that is next to you. You know, I'm going to bring out a name that people hate and despise so much. And sure enough, after I started employing that, people stopped going away. And in fact, if there is somebody that goes away, there's always like a kid in the crowd that goes like, there goes one cockroach. And after that one person goes, nobody wants to go after that.
That's right. You see them standing there 2 hours after you've left.
Yeah.
That thought came back to my brain.
Oh, how about it?
Yeah, bring a rental crowd. If there's people from your church that don't want to open air preach, scared to witness, they can stand in your crowd and clap.
That's right.
When someone gets something right.
Yeah.
So applause really helps. I've noticed that. If you can bring a dozen people from your church, and when you start, you ask a question, they yell at the answer, and then when someone gets it right, they applaud enthusiastically, and suddenly you see people come and join the crowd and hear the message of salvation, which is what it's all about.
So then you don't have to do it the atheist way, something out of nothing. You actually bring a little bit of snow to get that snowball going.
That's it.
Rental crowds are great. I didn't have that last time. I had Mike over the camera real far away.
That's Rent a Mic.
A rent a mic. All right. Well, folks, I think we're well out of time. So I'm
We
gonna
did it without Tony.
We did.
Wow,
we did.
this is wonderful.
No Tony. Danny's giving me a signal. What is it, Danny? What? All right. I'm not too good at hand signals. Something about Mike. You want to cut the mic? Bye, Mike. All right. Well, this is Semper Fi. All right.
Raw.
This is where Tony does his special sign off.
This is your big moment.
All right.
Don't blow it.
Be encouraged, be strengthened, and unafraid. Proclaim the gospel. On behalf of Ray Comfort, Chad Williams, and I, and the Living Waters team, be strengthened, encouraged, and unafraid. Proclaim the gospel. You're full of it!
Living Waters presents On the Box.